Form 5 students, today I would like to share with you all how to solve Paper 1 Additional Mathematics for trial exam Sekolah Berasrama Penuh 2021. So let's have a look of this set of paper. I think at the moment I can't see any answer given for this set of paper, so it's good that you try all the question so that we can discuss the answer right now. Let's start with the first question. Let's get started now. The first question, let's read the question. If you read in PM, you can proceed with the PM. If you answer in English, you can answer in English, but the BM version comes first. So let's see, given alpha and beta are the roots. Okay, the roots are given. Alpha and beta are the roots. Right, so alpha, beta are the roots of the quadratic equation 3x squared minus 5x minus 7 equal to 0. Okay, find the value of alpha plus beta and of alpha beta. So for this question, I would suggest you to write down the formula. This formula won't be given in exam, so you must actually try to recall all the important formula that won't be given in exam. So the formula are, okay, let's write down the formula here. So you have A is 3, B is negative 5, C is negative 7. So according to the formula, sum of the root alpha plus beta is negative B over A. That means you are going to have negative 5 over 3, which is 5 over 3 for the alpha plus beta, right? And then for alpha beta, you will get C over A, which is negative 7 over 3, right? So if you can find the alpha and beta, alpha plus beta is equal to 5 over 3 and alpha beta is equal to negative 7 over 3, then you're entitled for 2 marks. Okay, the question is a direct question. Let's proceed to the next one. For the part B, we haven't discussed. Okay, for part B. Okay, hence, from the equation, quadratic equation of the root of 2 alpha and 2 beta in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So in order to find the form the equation, we have to use the roots that we have given, 2 alpha and 2 beta. These are the sum of the new root, new one. So we will factorize the 2, become 2 alpha plus beta. And just now we have the value of alpha plus beta, right? Which is 5 over 3. So we will just multiply 5 over 3. So it's 10 over 3. Right. So then we need to find the product of the roots, which is 2 alpha, the new roots, times the 2 beta, okay? Because the root now are 2 alpha and 2 beta. So if 2 times 2, you get 4, right? Alpha times beta, you can only write as alpha times beta. And just now, the alpha beta is 7 over 3, right? So you get negative 28 over 3, right? Now, in order to form the equation, you need to memorize this formula, right? This is sum of the roots. This is product of the roots. So we have obtained the sum of the root just now, which is this one. 10 over 3 is the sum of the roots. So we just substitute in here 10 over 3. And the product of the root, we already got the answer just now, which is here, negative 28 over 3, right? So in order to make it a integer, we times 3 for all the terms. You can times 3 for the right, but it's 3 times 0, so there's no effect. So this is 10x. Here you cut the 3, you got minus 28 equal 3 times 0 is 0. So this is in fact the answer for question number 1, right? First question is asking a very basic concept, which is sum of the root and product of the root. And then bear in mind that this formula won't be given. So maybe you can write down sum of the root is negative b over a, and product of the root is c over a, and then forming equation is negative sum of the root. It depends on the roots given, like this. Okay, you add on to the list for the formula that was not given. Okay, there won't be all the formula given, so some formula you need to add on to the list, come up with a new list, whereby you have a list of formula you need to recall before you go for your exam. Okay, let's proceed to question number 2. Question number 2 is about the function, right? So let's see this question. We're given the function fx, so we want to find the inverse. Normally we'll let fx equal to y, right? Then we will say, okay, y equal to x over 4 minus 3. Then we will try to get the x, right? So that means y plus 3 equal to x over 4. So x is 4y plus 12. So once we got the x, that means we are getting the inverse of the function. So we quickly convert everything into x, right? That is how you find the inverse function. Okay, then after that, the question asking you to find gx. Now, if you are given the f and the g, so the way to do is inverse, using inverse method. So you need to substitute your inverse into the x, meaning that you have to substitute inverse here, inverse here. All right, so I hope you understand. So the concept is gfx equal to x over 2 minus 7. So we want to make sure we get the x here. All right, so we actually knew that this object must be the inverse of the f, because the f and f x is equal to x, right? So this side also you have to substitute with the inverse. So let's substitute now. So we have gf, the f inverse we can write in symbol like that. Here we will write our inverse. Just now we have 4x plus 12 over 2 minus 7. So then here, this thing, we can cut it off like that. So we get inverse, and f cancel out. So we just simplify, become gx. And here you can just 4x divided by 2 plus 12 divided by 2 minus 7. Right? So you get 2x plus 6 minus 7. And your answer will be 2x minus 1. That is the answer for the function gx. Right? Okay, so let's proceed to the C. We're asking to find gf inverse of 2. Okay, what's the answer? So we have to refer to our inverse function here. We have the inverse function f just now, isn't it? Okay, our inverse function is here. So we substitute the 2 inside here. So we have 4 times 2 plus 12, right? Which is 8 plus 12, 20. That means the object now is, this is our object. I'm going to explain to you. The object is this thing. This is the object. So the object is 20, right? Just now we found out 20. So G20, we substitute here 20, right? Here 20, here 20. So we have 40 minus 1. So the answer is 39. Right, so this is the answer for the G20. So G20, the answer is 39. So let's proceed to the next one. We will discuss, this question is about the linear law, question number 3. So let's read the question. The variable x and y are related by this equation. This is non-linear equation. And then p is a constant. So we're asking to, okay, we have the two graphs, right? So we look at the big y-axis. We are asking to find the m value, and the p value, right? So basically, when you look at the graph, all right, if I want to get my big Y, which is y square root of x, so obviously I will take this equation, I will do something, right? I will times the square root x for every term. P, every terms I will multiply by square root x like this, right? So what you need to do is you have to times every terms with the square root of x. Okay, after you times every term with the square root of x, okay, why you times the square root of x? Because you can see that the axis here, it comes with a y square root x. So then you go to the y here. Every term you times the square root x, square root x, square root x. Got it? Then you try to simplify until y equal to mx plus c. So these two become px, and this one cancel out. So that means this is a big Y, this is a gradient, this is a big X, and this is a C, right? So that means we know the C here should be -5, isn't it? So hence we can solve the M. That means M will be equal to -5 plus 3, which is -2, right? So we have M is -2, and then with the M -2, we want to solve the value of the P, right? So let's go to the equation. Here, we look at the graph here. The graph here is going to modify the equation until 1 over x. So it seems that if you want to get 1 over x, you must have the 1 square root x times 1 square root x. So we times 1 square root x every terms 1 square root x with times like that. So that means we will have y square root x equal to p square root x, and 1 over square root x cancel out, minus 5 over x. Alright, so let's rearrange. We'll have y over square root x minus 5, 1 over x plus p. So obviously the gradient is negative, right? It means here is y over square root x, right? Here is 1 over x, and the p is the intercept. This is a p. Alright, so we will equate the p equal to 1 minus m. Got it? So the p will be 1 minus -2, which is 3. So the answer for p is 3. So that means you just look at the graph and then you modify the equation to get the big Y or big X. Now here you want to get a big X. Here you want to get a big Y. Clear? Understand? Alright, so the answer for the P is 3, and then for the M is -2, right? M is -2 and P is equal to 3. Alright, so let's proceed to the next one, question number 4. For question number 4, let's see, this question is about the trigo, right? So you're given the, okay, let's see, you're given the sine alpha is -p, tangent beta is q. Okay, P and Q are constant, angle alpha beta in the same quadrant. So in the same quadrant, that means tangent positive, that means should be third quadrant, right? At the third quadrant, sine is negative, yes. So we identify the quadrant first. Here will be alpha. If I'm going to use the third quadrant, I label the right angle. Sine will be negative p over 1. Opposite over hypotenuse. So, and then for this one, beta, tangent alpha, this is tangent alpha will be q. So that means this is q, this is 1. Right? You understand? Normally for trigo, we always do make it fraction so that we can read the side. This is negative p. Negative t is a opposite because of so. This is hypotenuse 1. Right? This is the axis. And then for tangent beta is q over 1. So this is a right angle q. Tangent is tor. Adjacent is 1. Hypotenuse we have to find. So for this triangle, we have to find this side. So let's say this is x. So normally what we do is x squared plus this thing, right? Negative p squared equal to hypotenuse squared. So that means that x squared plus, it's not minus, huh? 1 squared is 1. So that means x is equal to 1 minus p squared square root. And then for this one, the hypotenuse here, x squared, is equal to 1 squared plus q squared. So x 1 plus q squared, then square root. Right, so we need to find the side first before we can read out the sine beta, right? Sine beta to solve this question. And then tangent alpha to solve the b. So let's do the sine beta first. Sine beta plus 90 degree is sine A cos B, right? Plus we will plus cos A sine B. So that means we have to know that sine beta sine A cos B plus cos A. This is times with the 0, right? Sine A cos B plus cos A sine B. So we have the value 1 here. Here is cos beta. So that means we will write sine beta plus, this is 0. The cos 90 is 0. So the answer is cos beta. Then we go to the triangle. Cos beta is cha. So that means we will take 1 over the hypotenuse, which is, this is 1 plus q squared. So it's 1 over 1 plus q squared. But because this is the third quadrant, for cos it will be negative, right? For cos it will be negative. This is negative, this is negative, in fact. Right, so be very careful. So you need to make your answer negative. Put the negative like this, 1 plus q squared. Alright, and then for B, tangent 2 alpha is 2 tangent alpha over 1 minus tangent square alpha. So 2 tangent alpha, let's read the tangent alpha. Tangent alpha is, from here, is negative. Tangent is tor, opposite adjacent. Negative p over the x, but it's at the third quadrant, so the x should be negative, right? Okay, so we will make it negative for the x because it's at the left side. That means for tangent value it will be positive. So it's 2 times the tangent alpha The tangent alpha, if we read here, is, let's write down, negative p over negative 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus p squared. So it's a positive value because both negative, right? So it becomes p over 1 minus p squared. So we will substitute p over 1 minus p squared over 1 minus tangent alpha, which is p over 1 minus p square. So we will have the answer to p over 1 minus p square over, let's make it bigger, over, if I square it, I will get 1 minus p square over 1 minus p square. The square root cancel out, right? Okay, so if I simplify here, it's 2p over 1 minus p square over 1 minus p square minus p square over 1 minus p square. So it will become 2p over square root 1 minus p square, because this thing is become 1 minus p square over 1 minus 2p square, right? Okay, it become very complicated. Finally, the answer is 2p minus 1 minus positive over this 2 is square root 1 minus p square times 1 minus 2p square. Alright, that is the answer for question number 4, which is a bit complicated. So you can write your answer as p square plus 2p minus 1 over square root 1 minus p square, and then 1 plus 2, 1 minus, be very careful, 2p square, right? This is the answer for the trigonometric, which is a bit complicated.